The bike feels like it can fall. Now I'm gonna brake. It was kind of a characteristic of Himalayan because there are two modes to this console, and there's one more feature which not many people are talking about. Well, hello everyone. So आज है अपने साथ Nandi. That's the Himalayan 450 that Vijay has purchased very recently. अभी विजय घर गया हुआ है तो एक महीने के लिए ये मेरे पास है. So I'm actually riding her and I'm gonna give you the review according to what I felt about this bike. So for the people who do not know me, I must tell you, I have a Himalayan 411 at home right now. So I have ridden almost 45,000 kilometers on that Himalayan in the past 2 years. And now since this new baby has come out, about a week, I have been riding her in the city. And this is the first day that I have come out for a longer ride. So आज की हमारी ride थी almost 300 kilometers की to and fro. So we came to Horsley Hill from Bangalore. So now we are returning back. So I'm going to do this review just to give you an overall picture about what I feel about this bike. Now I am not someone who I would say he is a pro rider or something like that, but I have ridden more than 2.5 lakh kilometers so far. So depending on that and my understanding of bikes, I'll be giving you this particular review. So well, let's start with the basic thing. The very first thing which I am impressed with is this particular screen, the map. Now it's not very easy. The console, this system is not very easy. For example, the passing system. I mean, I'm pretty much used to doing it with the forefinger, this finger on normal bikes, but this is something new. So it's still taking me some time to get used to it. Then there was one more issue that was with the seat, that the seat was a little bit slant. So if let's say I was sitting behind, I used to fall ahead. So जाने से पहले Vijay, what he did is he got the seat cut because his height is little less. So he kind of got it cut so that it levels up. You do not slip. So that is something which we have done from outside market. This is not from the stocks, and now it feels very comfortable. The seat is pretty flat, so you do not actually slip on this particular seat. So that's something good which you might have to, I would say, optimize in order to experience it. Now to give you an overall picture, how exactly is the bike to ride? So for the people who know how KTM bikes are, as in they have kind of bad low-end torque and pretty good medium and high-end torque, people who are riding KTM would know how that punchy experience is. Same experience is on this bike as well. I'll show you right now. So see, I'm opening the throttle. I'm at the 6th grade. So a lot of air is coming on the face, but it's still picking up pretty fast. See. Yeah, 130. It's a straight highway, but there's huge amount of air that's coming from the front. Still, it reached 140. And now I'm gonna brake. See. If you see, the braking is very impressive. On my Himalayan 411, if I'm doing the front braking, it's not as punchy or as responsive as the brakes on this beast is. So I'm gonna show you again. I'm gonna pick up. And now I'm gonna brake. See. Quite punchy, isn't it? Okay, now let's talk about other features. So the first thing first, the weight of the bike is quite at the top of the bike. So because of that, when you're standing idle, the bike feels like it can fall on either of the directions very easily, which I felt that it was kind of a characteristic of Himalayan, because even with my 411, it was a little bit on that side where you're taking a strict U-turn and suddenly it would feel like that it's gonna fall on the side that you're turning. So this is same in this bike as well, but it's, I would say, 20%, 30% more than the Himalayan 411. However, apart from that, when you're riding this particular bike, the bike feels very smooth. It feels weightless. Like, I'll show you. So you're doing this as well. It doesn't make you feel like there's any weight on the handlebar. Whereas on Himalayan 411, all the weight actually comes on your handlebar. You can actually feel that the handlebar is pretty much heavy. Whereas on this bike, it feels very light, extremely light. Now let's talk about other features. I mean, I really do not like these buttons, these system. Not a big fan. But unfortunately, Royal Enfield has switched to these systems on almost all the bikes. So now ultimately we have to get used to this. We can't do anything else apart from this. Now, in terms of suspension, suspension is something I'm going to talk about. Suspension is good, like really good. So on my Himalayan, which is customized, I have worked on my suspensions. So I would say at that level, this suspension is at least 50 times, not 50 times, but 50% better. That's like half a time better. Not double better, but it's almost 50 times better. If you are seeing me right now, I'm kind of doing off-roading, but it doesn't shake much. It easily absorbs all the shocks that are coming from the road, from the off-roading trails. So pretty smooth there. Even the back suspension, the rear suspension is pretty good. Oh, handling is like, you feel some vibrations actually from 90 to 110, but after 110 it's smooth. So let's see. The moment I reach near the car, I'm gonna brake, and I'm gonna brake. Yeah. You saw that? It's quick. Pretty quick, actually. Now, moving further, one more thing I'll show you on the console now. See, on the console, if your phone is connected, so while coming towards Horsley Hill, my phone was all the time connected for the maps. I was actually doing the screencast from the Royal Enfield app. So it took me 3 hours, exactly 3 hours, for my phone's battery to come from 100% to almost zero. So it's a 4000 mAh Android phone which I'm using, Samsung S21 FE. So it took me not more than, 3 hours was the time that I could get by casting my screen, my phone screen, for the maps on Himalayan using the Royal Enfield app. Now, in case you're going for longer rides, you would require your phone to be charging. Now, luckily with this bike, they have actually given that feature already. So if you are seeing this, I have a turbocharging. It's a turbocharging? No, sorry, it's not a turbocharging. It's a Type-C port that Royal Enfield guys have given directly from the battery. So you do not actually have to put any external unit in order to charge your phone. The only thing you would require is a C-type to C-type, because of course these days every phone is a C-type phone. So it's a C-type to C-type that you can connect to your phone, and then you can connect maps on the on the screen, and you can actually go for rides longer than 3 hours. But do keep in mind, if in case you are in a place where the weather is hot, chances are your phone would reach extreme hotness while using or while connecting with the RE app. It's pretty bad actually. So I have experienced it on the... मेरे को ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि मेरा टायर पंचर हो गया? Anyway, so as I was saying, the phone really heats up big time, and it's very bad. But apart from that, you can control the music from your phone. One more thing. So when, let's say, you're getting a call, it shows that there's an incoming call, but it doesn't show from which number, and you cannot even pick up the call. So that's a very stupid feature which I felt that the RE guys have given. They could have actually given an option to pick up the phone. Wait, let me check if we have to go straight or do we have to go straight? Yes, we have to go straight. My goodness, the pollution. Why pollution check kara le? Anyways, I'll come back. So as I was showing you, okay, yeah. Now this feature of the trip, it tells you, of course, how many kilometers you have ridden, what was the average speed. But the main thing which I liked about this bike was the mileage. So it actually shows you what mileage you're getting. Now, for example, I have been riding this bike for a little I would still see you're getting an incoming call. I can see it on my screen, but I cannot see the number. Wow, that's pretty lucky. Anyways, I cannot see the number. I cannot pick up the call. I'm trying to press the button here, but it doesn't pick up the call. Anyways, so yeah, where were we? Yeah, on the mileage side. Let me come to the mileage. So on the mileage, earlier I was riding very aggressively. So my mileage was showing as 21.7. That was the average per liter that I was getting. The moment I started riding a little peacefully. Now, for example, during this particular ride, I have been riding pretty smoothly. I'm not crossing 4,000, 5,000 RPM. So now I'm getting 29.1 kilometer per liter. Fairly good. So anywhere you can easily get 28 to 32 kilometers per liter is what I feel. Cross this area and then I'll continue the review. Anyways, yeah. So the console, if you can see, is pretty good. So there are two modes to this console. I'm gonna show you this now. If I long press this, it will change to the other mode. And there's one more feature which not many people are talking about when it comes to the Himalayan 450. I'm gonna show you right now. So if you're able to see, I'm on the 4th gear. It's crossing 5,000 RPM. After the engine starts feeling stressed, it's gonna show an arrow over here for me to actually change the gear. See, can you see it? I guess it's clear right now. So yeah. So it always shows an arrow, a red colored arrow facing upwards or downwards whenever it feels that the gear needs to be changed. So that's a pretty cool feature, especially for newbie riders. So they would get to know when they should be shifting the gear. They might be stressing the engine or something like that. So that issue won't be there. Now, apart from that, let's come to the riding stance of this bike. Again, this is pretty comfortable to sit, but not very comfortable to stand. So I'm going to show it to you right now. So if I stand, I am 6 feet tall. If you see, I'm kind of hunched forward right now, just like a gorilla. My shoulders are a little bit down. So probably if you're tall, you'll have to raise the handlebars. That is something which you would be required to customize the bike according to your weight, your height. That's a pretty normal thing we all do. In my Himalayan 411 also, I have actually raised the handlebars. My suspensions are raised. The front suspensions, the rear suspensions, both are raised. And it gives me better ride quality. So in this case as well, depending on the rider, you might have to go for certain customizations, certain modifications, which would actually enhance your experience for riding this particular bike. Now, in terms of power, in terms of speed, both are very good. You get like, what, 40 horsepower if I'm not wrong? 40-45 is your torque as well. So, pretty good over there. एक बार check करना मेरा टायर पीछे का flat तो नहीं लग रहा है. Okay, so second thing which I felt bad about this bike is this portion. So on my Himalayan, when I stand, I can easily grip my knees on this particular bike. But on my Himalayan 411, not on this particular bike. Over here, my knees are a little above the tank. So anyways, I'll have to put the tank pads over here for gripping. But still, this part, that's the knee part, would not actually be able to grip it. So I might have to use my calf muscles to actually grip it. So that's a very bad thing for tall riders, but I'm pretty sure riders, let's say 5'6" till 5'9" or 5'10", it should be pretty fine. So the rider that owns this bike is about 5'5", 5'6". So as per his height, he was facing that issue of his feet touching the ground. Now by default this is 825mm bike with the stock seats. The seats which they promised, which Royal Enfield promised, that was supposed to be 800mm. it's really still not out there in the market, not in any of their showrooms. They are still not sure when they can get those seats, so you may have to actually cut the seat yourself in order to get it sorted. Then apart from that, the clutch is pretty smooth. It doesn't take a lot of strength on your fingers to press the clutch, and I have been doing very quick riding on this. Like, I'm going from 5th to 6th, I'm changing gears like this. It's very quick, not like my Himalayan where you need to pull it. So I'm not sure if the pulling strength is at about 6 kgs on my Himalayan. It feels almost half on this. The brakes again are already very good. If let's say you go for better high performance brakes, you will get even better punchier brakes. However, your rear brakes are very bad. So let's say I'm gonna press my rear brake. Oh, it did work right now, but on a normal day, what I am experiencing is the rear brakes are not as responsive as the front brakes, and this is pretty normal in every bike, if you would have noticed. Most of the bikes, the front brakes are good, the rear ones are not good, so that's the same case over here as well. Okay, I'm getting the fuel indication. On my Odo it says I have like 91 kilometers to go, so I'll have to refuel it before I run out of the fuel. So this has like 17 liter capacity of fuel, and the reserve is about 4.5 liters. So the reserve has already started. What is it saying? Distance to empty 89 kilometers. So I'm really not sure how it gives you 90 kilometers range when you're on the reserve, because you have like 4.5 liters. If you're getting an average mileage of 30 kilometers, you should still be getting like 120. Still, it shows always, it actually starts at 90 kilometers. Whereas on my Himalayan 411, on an average, I ride 120 to 140 kilometers on my reserve, and the reserve for Himalayan 411 is actually 5 liters. So not much of a difference over there. Over here, it just gives you like 90 kilometers max when it goes on reserve. Now, apart from that, there are not multiple, but there are exactly 2 options when it comes to your riding. One is economy mode, one is the normal performance mode. I did not find much of a difference over there. It's like 10-20% decrease in the punchiness of the bike, I would say. That's all. Hey, bugger. They won't clean it, but they'll surely make it dirty. Anyways, then you have 2 options, that's ABS on and ABS off in both these riding modes. So far I've just been riding on performance mode. I haven't ridden much on economy mode, so I would not judge economy mode when it comes to fuel consumption. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to do that on a ride inside in the city, basically in the traffic, and then only I'll be able to better justify or give you an idea. Fuel bharwa lete hain. So let's see how much fuel it captures.
Full time.
Shock. 12.4. So last time when I filled the tank, okay, you should not be filling it over this line, if you can see. Oh, shit. Anyways, so almost 12 liters of fuel utilized, and I'm gonna check how many kilometers I've ridden so that I get a better idea about the mileage. Okay, so from my last refueling, I have used 310 kilometers, 12 liters, not bad. 10 liters, it's showing 28 ka mileage I've got, but I think it should be like 25 for 300 kilometers. Okay, yeah. One more thing, it doesn't come with any stock क्या बोलते हैं इनको जो लगवाए हैं, knuckle guards. Yes, knuckle guards. It doesn't come with any stock knuckle guards. I've got these ones new from SP Road. So now, yeah, there were some people who have been asking me about the efficiency of this particular map. So I would say 7 out of 10 times it works flawlessly. It actually creates issues only when you stop. So if you have stopped, it forgets that you have again started. You would start your bike, would probably cross a kilometer, and then it realizes that, oh shit, I was supposed to be working. So that's like 2 to 3 times that happens out of 10 times. So I'm keeping that error rate in mind. So considering that 70% times it's always right. And one more stupid feature. I'm not sure. Why would I need to read normal text messages? See, it comes on your screen if you want to read the message. I'm not interested in reading the message. Rather give me an option to know who is calling me and I can pick up the call. That would have been a better feature. And I think I've talked about the brakes. I've talked about the acceleration. Acceleration is very punchy. I'm gonna show it to you. So let me come to the first gear, or I shall stop actually. Okay. I'm gonna put it on the first gear. The speed is almost 0, and now let's. So the pickup is pretty good. It's very quick. It's very good. So that's why I keep telling that this bike feels more like a KTM bike than a Himalayan. Because now let's see, I'm gonna show you one thing. I'm on the 5th gear. The moment it comes lower than 50, the engine would start knocking on the 5th gear. Whereas on my bike, I can easily go from 50 to 120 on 5th gear. So the condition here is on the 1st gear, you can at max do like 10. The 2nd gear, you can at max go lower. The lower side would be like 20. On 3rd gear, it would be 30. On 4th gear, it would be 40. If I'm going lesser than these speeds, the engine starts knocking. So the moment basically your RPM is lesser than 3500, I would say 3000 or 3500, the engine starts knocking. It kind of loses all its power that you actually feel on higher RPM. So that is one thing which you would find different from an older Himalayan, because on that bike it was beautiful. Like the low end torque is so beautiful. You feel it, like it's very comfortable. It glides on that bike, but on this bike it's more like a KTM. So it behaves like a KTM, and the engine behaves like a KTM. Now of course you cannot expect every feature to be working fine. You want speed also, you want high revving engine also, and then you're expecting low RPM. Of course that may not be possible. So anyways, so that's the overall idea about the bike. Now other features like the light, the headlight is pretty bad. You might have to change the headlights, go for them. You might have to install some aux lights, yeah, because the lights are pretty bad. Anyways, apart from that, the horn is okay. This is the back button on the top here. This is the menu button. This is the hazard button. Pass, I have already told you, is pretty bad. So apart from that, I think I have covered most of the features of this bike. Anyways, that's all for my review. Now I'm gonna do another video where I'm gonna compare Himalayan 411 and Himalayan 450. I'm gonna do a ride inside the city from point A to point B, both rides, so that you can understand how quick this bike is versus the Himalayan 411, because this is pretty good. Very quick. You can quickly accelerate, you can quickly deaccelerate, you can maneuver. It's very efficient at that, whereas the Himalayan 411 isn't. I mean, it is, but this one at least is double when it comes to the efficiency on the inner roads, the city roads, the traffic. Actually, it feels more like a naked bike. So that's where this bike's outperformed the Himalayan 411. Now, so this was all of it. Do check out the next video, of course, which I'm gonna compare. I'm gonna compare the 411 and 452. So that's all. See you next time. Have a good day. You can put your feedbacks in the comment section below. And if in case I have missed out on anything, please do let me know. Thank you. Adios. Bye-bye.